Whether or not you're new to the Botox game, I'm sure that you have heard units referenced in the past. So what are units and how do we decide how many units one needs? My name is Danny Leonard and I'm a certified physician assistant and co-owner and injector here at Premier Central Michigan Med Spa, where we have a true passion for aesthetic medicine. That is why I have brought to you SPA-CIFIC, where I give you the detailed information regarding the common aesthetic questions we receive. When we reference units in regards to Botox or any other neurotoxin treatment, units are essentially the dose that you are receiving for that particular neurotoxin. Think of it like milligrams for a medication. Before we get into the specifics as far as figuring out what dose of unit one might need, I want to point out that the amount of units one receives is not the amount of pokes that you're going to get. I promise. The FDA approval for upper face neurotoxin, which includes the glabella or the furrow lines, the forehead, and the crow's feet, is 64 units. That would be 20 units here, 20 units here, 12, and 12. Now, not everybody is going to necessitate 64 units in the upper face. It is extremely variable from person to person as far as how many units should be used, and we base that upon a couple of things. Firstly, gender. If you are a male, you are going to need probably a lot more units than me. You oftentimes see in males, they have stronger muscle movement, and again, that is what we treat. We treat muscle, we don't treat wrinkle. Piggybacking off of that, that is ultimately what strongly dictates how many units we use, how strong one's muscle movements are. So if you're somebody who's pretty weak in your forehead muscle, we don't need a whole lot to knock it out. Another thing that we strongly consider as injectors is one's anatomy. For example, if you're somebody who has hooded eyelids, we don't want to over-inject the forehead because that can lead to a heavy feeling in the eyebrows and feeling like the lids are sagging and are heavier. Another thing we need to consider for dosing as far as units go is how you've handled Botox in the past. If you're somebody who's received 10 units in the forehead, but you were only able to get 9-10 weeks use out of your neurotoxin treatment, you might need to receive a couple more units in the forehead to get you that longevity. Remember, dose equals duration. So there you have it regarding all things units. If you are curious what your dosing might be, we do offer free consultations here at Premier Central Michigan Med Spa, and we would absolutely love to see you. And lastly, we hope that you are all having an amazing holiday season.